Well, there is a brand new fight brewing in the Congressional Super Committee. Talks over how to cut the budget have stalled. Republicans and Democrats are blaming each other. At the center of the latest debate, whether or not to approve a new stimulus package like the president's $447 billion jobs plan. The president still insists that more spending is the only way to get this economy moving again. Did you know the debate of government spending is nothing new? In fact, our current debate is the exact same one economists have been having since the Great Depression. Ben has the reality check.
Well, you might know the debate as Tea Party economics versus big government proponents. The debate over whether government should be cutting or spending to end this recession. What you might not know, the two schools of economic thought we're fighting over in this country today have been argued for nearly the past 100 years. The debate is between what's called Hayekian economics and Keynesian economics. Let's start with Keynesian. Economist John Maynard Keynes established what was known as his general theory in 1936. The general theory was designed to explain the Great Depression of 1929 to 1932. Essentially, Keynes believed that during an economic depression or severe recession, automatic forces would not produce a recovery on their own. Ultimately, Keynes claimed that the government needed to run a deficit to whatever extent necessary to offset the decline in consumer spending. To cut spending would only prolong stagnation. Sound familiar?
The jobs plan that I've put forward, we know would grow the economy by as much as 2%. We know that it could add as many as 1.9 million jobs. We could put teachers back in the classroom. We can put construction workers back on the job rebuilding our roads and bridges and schools. We know that would work.
Well, that is true, at least according to a Keynesian economist. The designer of the Obama $1 trillion stimulus package was Christina Romer, the head of the President's Council of Economic Advisors. Now, Romer claimed that borrowing hundreds of billions of dollars and spending it on solar projects, on green energy, and pouring billions into failed banks would have a precise net effect. Romer claimed that she could calculate that for every dollar of government spending, GDP would increase by $1.57. Unemployment would climb no higher, she said, than 8%. But what actually happened? We got the stimulus and unemployment peaked at 10%. The Keynesian model didn't just get the magnitude of the effect wrong, it got the direction of the effect wrong as well. And that is the contention of the opposing school of economic thought. What you might call Tea Party economics is actually Hayekian economics. The theory of economist Friedrich August von Hayek, a contemporary of Keynes who believed that the only way for a market to recover was to be a truly free market. Hayek believed that the main causes of economic slumps, excessive credit creation by banks, which leads to overinvestment. Under Hayek's theory, the so-called boom is the illusion, the slump is the reality. So the slump or the recession must be allowed to run its course until the bad investments have been liquidated. Sound familiar? An example of this theory, the current housing crisis. Banks across the U.S. under the authority of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac made huge numbers of subprime and exotic loans that people could not afford. As the loans came due, the banks were overextended and those bad mortgages collapsed the financial system. Presidential candidate Mitt Romney alluded to this in an interview in Nevada a couple of weeks ago.
Don't try and stop the foreclosure process. Let it run its course and hit the bottom, allow investors to buy homes, put renters in them, fix the homes up, and let it turn around and come back up.
And that is also true if you are a believer in the Hayekian economic theory. So here's what you need to know. The so-called Super Committee is fighting over exactly this issue right now. But the biggest difference between the debate over these theories today versus during the Great Depression is our enormous national debt. Economists and politicians after the Great Depression, well, they did not have a $15 trillion debt that grows every day. The stakes in this debate have never been higher. And that is Reality Check.